We have more gun owners than anything else in this country. Yeah, I know we need planes and tech and satellites and Space Force and all the Navy and all the shit, but when's the last time we actually went to war to fight for our freedom?
We won't even defend our southern border.
Should we have been in Iraq?
I was a huge proponent of it at the time, but in retrospect, absolutely not.
So was I. I don't think we should have been there.
Yeah.
I think that was all for Cheney and KBR, Halliburton. I think we were in Afghanistan for way too. I don't even think we're defending the country. Like, why the fuck are people even signing up to go to war for what? For what? Whose war? It's not our fucking war. We're funding the Taliban $40 to $87 million
A week.
A week.
A week.
They run the government over there. They're making passports for these guys, legitimate passports for these guys. They fly them all over South America and Central America. They funnel up through the southern border. You know, it's not a fucking conspiracy. It's real. And like, so what are we going to use our military for? For Ukraine?
No.
So why would anybody sign up? What are you defending? What are you defending?
It's a great question. I mean, I think and that's why I reserved judgment to say, I want to know what the world looks like in 4 years when you're 18.
And if they do lose all the Patriots, they have to change something because they have
Or
no
do
one.
they? Or do they? Or
Maybe
would
you're
they?
right.
Or
Maybe
would they
you're right.
conscript?
Maybe you're right.
Or would they bring in pathway to citizenship, conscript? I mean, I think DC will find a way, and it may be ugly, and so I share all of your skepticisms about that. I've been a recovering neocon for 6 years now. Like the foolishness with which we ricocheted around the world, intervening, think it was in our best interest, when really we just overturned the table and created something worse in almost every single scenario, has led to the hubris of the Pentagon is that they want to now tell other countries how to do counterinsurgency based on what we did in Iraq and Afghanistan. Like, are you kidding me? So you really have learned nothing. Okay, nothing. So yeah, you're right. The trust there that our political leaders or our generals would have our best interests in mind is totally broken. It's totally broken. I acknowledge that completely. And the last thing I want is my son deploying to the Donbass to defend Eastern Ukraine. Mm-hmm. I'm with you too. At the same time, I'm fearful of what happens when the institution gets abandoned completely. And maybe it feels like the public school argument, like, hey, if we take all the Christians and people of faith out of public schools, then they're really going to go, yeah, but you got to save your kid, right? And I'm going to save my kid. And that's the view. It's just there isn't an alternative right now to the United States military. Mm-hmm. There just isn't. And I don't want to lose patriotic influence over that. So my prayer, because if Donald Trump doesn't win and Kamala Harris is the commander-in-chief, what's happening inside our military is going to go on another level of warp speed. Mm-hmm. And you're going to see even more guys retiring, guys and gals retiring, and even more of the DEI woke focus, and it's going to continue to spiral. If Trump does win and goes at it, I think it might be our last sort of chance to save this institution and turn it back to what it was, because it is a top-down organization. You put a SecDef in there who's focused on all the right things, get rid of all the things that are described in the book, and focus on warfighting, lethality, and training and standards, real standards, not equity, but equality. Mm-hmm. You can do it. There's still the core there. But I share what has Washington shown us in the last 20 years that we should trust them with how they'll use our young men? It's fair. Trump tried to use them on the border and they shut them down.
Our power grid's fucked. Our border's fucked. Our education system's fucked. Everything's fucked. That's the way it feels. Everything is fucked. And we're shipping all of our money overseas. And we should be, do you know anything about the power grid? Do you know how bad it is?
Super vulnerable. I mean, one EMP, one of the right strikes, and we're what happens when we're months without power?
I don't think they even need to do an EMP. China produces all of our transformers, all of our solar, all of our wind, everything. And we don't even check it for malware or Trojan horses or any of these type of viruses that I mean, and even Ray, FBI Director Ray, came out and said, yeah, they're in our grid and they're in our water treatment plants. And all they have to do is flip the switch. But we shipped 100 and what is it, like 175 billion thus far to Ukraine. But
No, well, and Bin Laden's son is now in Afghanistan. He's married to the daughter of Mullah Omar and the daughter of what's
Zarqawi.
Zarqawi, and they're, I mean, when you hear when the FBI director is saying that the dashboard is flashing red and smoking, he's not doing it because he's doing it because he's covering his ass. He knows something's coming at some point, and